Hi there, this is Pride Daily. Doesn't take much to excite the transphobes due to their empty, desolate lives. This time they're foaming at the mouth about women's boxing. It's because the International Olympic Committee's allowed Algeria's Iman Khalif and Lin Yu-ting from Taiwan to compete. They were disqualified from a competition last year when officials claimed they'd failed on specified and unverified gender eligibility tests. We'll come back to that. To be crystal clear, there's no suggestion the women are transgender. IOC spokesperson Mark Adams has been defending Iman Khalif.
The Algerian boxer was born female, was registered female, lived her life as a female, boxed as a female, has a female passport. This is not a transgender case. Scientifically, this is not a man fighting a woman.
Back to those tests I mentioned from last year. They're at the root of all this. They were carried out by the Russian-led International Boxing Association, which oversaw the 2023 Women's World Boxing Championships. The IBA had been the sport's world governing body till the International Olympic Committee removed its status over numerous concerns about how the organisation's run. And those tests are being discredited by the IOC, which says Iman Khalif and Lin Yu-ting were suddenly disqualified without any due process. So of course, this has been exploited by all the usual suspects. Among them, the weird guy who's ruined Twitter, the weird guy with the weird hair who used to run America, and Harry Potter's wicked grandma. Lots and lots of support for the boxers as well, though. And I'll finish up by noting the bigots and knuckle-draggers who are suddenly experts on women's boxing have had no issue previously when Iman and Lin have lost their fights. Thousands of dollars have been raised for an LGBTQ+ anti-bullying charity, and it's all thanks to some homophobic knuckle-draggers. They made fun of gay waiter Noah Bierig, who was serving them in a restaurant in Kansas, and instead of leaving a tip, they wrote a homophobic insult on their receipt, which made him cry. But after a photo of it went viral, allies left tips for the 19-year-old online. He tells Cake News it's all going to the Glisten charity.
They talk to a lot of the LGBTQ plus kids in school, and if they're getting bullied, then they'll go to help them. It's a really incredible organization. I honestly wish that, I knew something like that was around when I was still in high school, because I'm sure that would have helped, and I know a lot of kids that also would have helped.
His restaurant, Bubba's 33, is matching the money raised. One of the homophobes has since apologised to Noah, but only after he was identified on socials and torn a new one. A pro-transgender video to promote this podcast has been censored by TikTok. Other platforms are absolutely fine with it. Features 2 cartoon images of cavemen. Have a listen. Today, transphobes target 2 female Olympians who aren't trans. You can see it on our YouTube Shorts and Instagram. We've contacted TikTok for an explanation. And a new queer retro video game sees Yuzu, who's half human, half fox, trying to rescue a sorceress she's got the hots for. Kitsune Tails looks quite like Super Mario 3. Yuzu's love interest Akko has been imprisoned by friend-turned-rival Kiri. But why? Yeah, Kiri is so jealous. It's out on PC now and consoles early next year. It's exactly 30 years since an infamous police raid on a queer club night in Australia. 463 people were held at Tasty in Melbourne for 7 hours, and everyone was strip searched. Led to a group lawsuit that cost the police about $6 million. Gary Singer was there and tells the BBC it was traumatic.
I had to undress, had to unbutton my shirt, take off my jeans, and they said, take off your underwear. My friends and I, we got strip searched together. It was in full view of each other. It was humiliating. It was revolting.
The strip searches weren't exactly fruitful, with police finding aspirin and an asthma inhaler. A massive backlash saw the state premier label the raid disturbing and extreme. The boss of LGBTQ+ charity GLAD reckons claims about her lavish spending, as it's being put, are grossly misleading. comes after a New York Times report on Sarah Kate Ellis's expenses. The paper claims she's been using the charity's cash for luxury hotel stays, first-class flights and home office renovations. In turn, she points out GLAAD's been very critical of the Times over its coverage of transgender issues. An Olympian, Jack Woolley, says he's way more comfortable now with being referred to as a gay athlete. This label had chafed with the Irish taekwondo star, but things have changed since he got with his boyfriend Dave. They've been together 3 years, and now Jack reckons it's just great to feel they're inspiring people. LGBTQ plus people are more likely to have issues with alcohol, if you go by all the research, and with that comes an increased cancer risk. So there's a push in Australia to flag up that link and encourage responsible drinking. Broadcaster and writer Benjamin Laws, part of the Be Unapologetic campaign in New South Wales.
Drinking more than 4 drinks a day, or 10 per week, increases your risk of cancer. So talk to your doctor about ways to reduce your alcohol consumption. And let's be open and supportive with friends about lowering our booze intake. Stay within the guidelines, go booze-free when needed, and be unapologetic about not drinking too.
The challenges queer people come up against, like discrimination and hate crimes, sometimes result in problem drinking. Alcohol can lead to 8 different types of cancer, including liver, bowel and breast cancer. Thailand's become the 44th country to be named a member of the Equal Rights Commission. The organisation works to protect LGBTQ plus rights around the world, with a particular focus on reducing violence and discrimination. Other members include America, Australia, Cyprus and the UK. And a new queer romance from the non-binary author of Red, White and Royal Blue. The pairing by Casey McQuiston sees ex-lovers Theo and Kit back in each other's orbit after 4 years apart. They try to prove how much they've both moved on by competing to have the most hookups. As for Red, White and Royal Blue, a sequel to the film of that book's in the works, again starring Nicholas Galitzine and Taylor Zacha Perez. There's calls for a mural in Los Angeles to be updated because a pop singer it features has transitioned. The artwork celebrates some prominent Filipino Americans, including Jake Zyrus, who's appeared on Glee and been an X Factor judge. His depiction was added in 2011, pre-coming out as trans, and the mural dead names him. Jake tells Tony Gonzaga's studio he was aware of his gender identity from an early age.
Probably a lot of people won't believe me, but I was 5 years old. And I didn't know any labels or anything like that. So I don't understand, but definitely I knew.
The singer is hoping for a new portrait that represents his true self, and he's being backed up by his local community. The number of children in England and Wales on the waiting list for gender-affirming care has risen to more than 5,700. It's taking nearly 2 years on average for a first appointment. Comes after a national gender identity development service was replaced by 2 regional centres. 6 more have been promised over the next couple of years. And the Emmys this year could be a Schitt's Creek takeover. Eugene and Dan Levy, who played Johnny and David Rose in the superb Canadian queer-friendly comedy, are in talks to host the ceremony. Takes place in LA on September 15th. If they do sign up, they'd be the first father and son presenting team. I'm Kev McGrath. See you Monday.